Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and finally the Druid Legendaries have been added into the game. This potentially could be one of the longer videos for the Legendary series. But in Shadowlands, Legendaries are coming back, but they're going to be different than Legion Legendaries. They're not going to be mired in RNG. Instead, we'll be able to learn the recipes and craft them and put them on specific pieces of gear. And we'll even get to customize the secondary stats, so it's going to be really neat. Now, Druid is another class that just got added with the recent update into the beta. And there's a good chance most of these don't work, but I still want to take a look at some of these legendaries, see what they are going to give each spec. Now with druids, there's 4 specs, and then there's non-spec specific legendaries as well. So I want to take a look at how strong all these effects are in the early version of the beta of Shadowlands currently. We're going to start off with Boomkin since already I have this spec set up, and I roughly set up the other 3 specs available. So we'll take a look at what we have to play with currently. Now, which ones are for balance again? I think it is the Star Surge, Starfall. So it looks like a lot of the balanced druids ones don't work. So there's only 2 right now for us to test. But these are going to be familiar stuff. Some of these are going to be tier sets, some of these are going to be legendaries from Legion, or even Azeroth gear from recent expansion of Battle for Azeroth, and some of them are completely new and nothing I've seen. But first there's going to be a Legion legendary, which I do recognize. Star Surge and Starfall each have a 50% chance to make the other free. So as I'm building up, let's say, damage for Star Surges, as I'm firing off a bunch of Star Surges at the enemy, I'm just going to go build it up just for, not the sake of actually doing damage, but just to see what this is like. 1 Star Surge. 2, 3. So each Star Surge has a chance to make your Starfall free. This could be pretty good for Mythic Pluses with Boomy going, let's say, Stellar Drift. So you can go for free Star Surges, especially if you're going to go for a little bit of extra of that cleave capability with your stars. But so far as I'm using this ability, it's either the 50... Oh, there it is. I was going to say 15% chance is super low, but looks like it did work here. So you can see my Starfall has no cost. And I can kind of bank it for a little bit later, but I think a real balanced druid will probably want to use this before you start using your Star Surges. Either way, it doesn't seem like a bad one, especially if you're going to go into a variety bit of content. Mythic Pluses will have AoE situations as well as single target. And if you end up getting this legendary, it's not the worst one either. Especially if you go for Stellar Drift, this will give you movement while you have Starfalls falling as well. And you'll probably have a lot more Starfalls to maintain, so you might as well squeeze out whatever damage you can out of it. The next legendary says, every 400 astral power spent grants you celestial alignment for 9 seconds. I wonder if this is actually changed into Incarnation if you go for Incarn. But this is going to be a trait from back in BFA. This is actually a modified version of a trait that we have in BFA, but a better one because it takes astral power, not Star Surges. So you can get this astral power through Starfalls as well. So if we use Starfall, we gain it back. So I guess there is going to be some sort of a charge system, right? I guess you need to have 9 stacks of this, 9 stacks of 100 in order to be able to get the most value. Oh, okay, that was weird. It actually did not need nearly as many. It didn't need nearly as much Arcanite. Okay, for some reason I didn't think it was 400. For some reason I thought this was 900. I don't know why. I guess my brain just stopped working at some point. But it does give you Incarnation. So this is interesting. Yes, I think this is a better version of this legendary. It is going to be 400 astral power. That means 400 astral power with 30 Star Surges each. What is it going to be? So you're looking at about 13 Star Surges, which is kind of expensive. Or if you wanted to go for 400 astral power and dump a bunch of Starfalls into it, that's looking like 8 Starfalls. So this is an interesting compromise for this legendary to be useful with single target abilities, but also AoE abilities. That does give you your Incarnation if you talent into it, which is a good thing. But it is going to require a few more Star Surges for you to reach this. Again, a really good legendary if you're going for AoE, but also a mix of single target as well. Next, we're going to take a look at the Feral Druid and see what they got. They got abilities that might be broken, okay? I had a lot of DENT, like do not test, comma, next, or I guess like it's like an addition to the text of DNT for do not test or not available for testing that Blizzard usually adds for things that are currently broken. So a lot of these things might not work. But for Feral Druids, we'll start one with a Helm where it says clear cast abilities generate 25% of their energy cost, and your maximum energy is increased by 60. So your energy is increased. I can see that right here. So we actually can just, if we take off Moment Clarity, 100 energy is what we should have. So energy by 60 is huge for druids. Oh my goodness, this could feel quite nice. 200, almost 200 energy. And abilities that proc clear cast and generate 25% of their energy back to you as a character. It says you're supposed to gain energy equal to 25% of the energy cost. Yeah, so this would give me energy, right? I think it does, yeah. It's watching the ticks carefully. I'm pretty sure I can do something here with a combat log where I can actually see the energy regen. But it does look like I am gaining energy. This is such a cool legendary on the Feral Druid, because energy-wise, you always have issues energy-wise. Oh my god, and getting big bites with 50 energy, or I guess, yeah, 50 energy or above is going to be huge. This is actually really cool. I like this just for the energy issues, because I feel like Feral always has energy issues. And I wonder if, together with Savage Roar, this could be a really good energy maximizing build. I know my talents are not perfect. I haven't messed with those at all. But imagine this with Savage Roar. I like this already, just for the sake of energy consumption. Huge fan. But this is an awesome legendary. Huge fan of that energy regen. This is super exciting. I don't know if this is a Legion thing or not. I didn't play much Feral back in Legion. But this is an awesome one so far. Then we have a ring where rip damage has a 4% chance to make a next ferocious bite free and deal maximum damage. So a 4% chance is really low. But I guess you'll get a couple of those rips in there, right? I guess you'll maintain quite a bit of the bleed is gonna tick quite a lot. I wonder what is it, 8%? 4% chance is so low. I almost feel like I should bleed up multiple targets just in case I might be able to get it. Yeah, let's do it. We gotta bleed up. We gotta bleed up multiple targets. Otherwise, I think the chance of this proc is low. But 4% chance with Rip, it makes me think you want to play Mythic Plus with Primal Wrath. So it's almost like you will focus on a pure AoE. Oh, there it is. Makes first bite will cost no energy or combo points. It deals max, so you don't even need combo points. You just get a big old bite, big old chomp. That's kind of cool. So if I were to, let's say, maintain a Rip on a single enemy, 4% being as low as that is, let's just kind of maintain that Rip on the enemy the whole time. See how long it takes. So there it is. So it did proc. And I guess 4% chance with your Rip ticking constantly. Maybe Blizzard can add some kind of a bad luck protection to it. That could be pretty cool. I just got a double bite. That was awesome. I think that could be really interesting. Not a bad legendary. 4% chance seems really low, but it seems to proc a decent amount. Definitely going to be really good in Mythic Pluses for AoE. Potentially could be decent for single target. And there it goes again, another bite. I have to sink my teeth into the trade W real quick. Give it a big old snap, and that was awesome. For a 4% chance, it definitely gives you a generous amount of bites for a 4% chance. Again, if this was 20 and that was my, or 80% chance and I was getting that many bites, then I'd say this is awful. But for a 4%, that seems a lot higher. I wonder if there's going to be any bad luck protection for this one. And then we got the necklace where Tiger's Fury causes your next finish move to restore 3 combo points. This one is also really cool. Tiger's Fury gets used quite often as an ability, and you'll usually use it for a big old bite. Actually interesting. This could be game changing in terms of the rotation that you would use for your Feral Druid, especially in your opener. I can totally see the opener of, let's get a Rake open with a Rip, with some combo points, with some shreds. Big old bite to follow, and you'll get 3 combo points to re-extend a Rip right after if you need to. Especially useful if you have yourself a very slow opener. Yeah, not a bad legendary. I don't think this is nearly as exciting as the other two. I really like the clear casting one and the extra energy. But this is cool to see what Blizzard is adding for Ferals in terms of the legendaries and how they'll affect the way the class will play. Then we got the big old bear, and actually, I gotta be honest, I'm kind of a fan of bears in Shadowlands. They're actually looking like a lot of fun. I'm not even joking either. They actually look surprisingly fun. I had a lot of fun playing mine the other day. So let's take a look at some of the Guardian Druid abilities. These ones also may not work. The Feral ones ended up working. These may all be broken. But we'll see. The chest piece where Thrash does 20% increased damage and 30% increased radius to stack 1 additional time. So we have Thrash right here, which stacks up to 4 times now. But if you take off the Lego, stacks up to 3 times. Wow, so Thrash can stack 4 more. Does more damage. Increased range or radius on it, so you might be able to get Thrash back a little bit quicker. And it can stack up to 3, so together 3 stacks is going to do 123 damage. And with an extra stack, this is going to do 165 dot ticks. Pretty cool. I mean, this is good. I also think together with the Earth Warden, when you deal direct damage with Thrash, again, charge of Earth Warden, have an extra range on it, will let you get all those charges a little bit quicker, especially when picking up enemies. This is also good legendary because druids don't really have the best time picking up adds, right? They don't really have the easiest time really AoEing the adds to get them to alter aggro you. So with this legendary, you might be able to net out a little bit extra damage. This is going to be also good for single target boss fights, but also great for AoE. The extra damage this thrash that will do. As you can see, the breakdown isn't really massive right now for the actual damage itself, but it could be useful. Interesting how they got a more damaging specific Lego rather than a tanking Lego, but maybe there's a tanking aspect that I'm missing from this. But I want to think of it as just holding aggro. Then we have gloves. Barkskin reduces damage by additional 15% when it begins and ends. You gain Iron Fur and Frenzied Regen. Huge generation of extra tanky potential. So it does reduce damage by 35. Wait, hold on. Normally reduces damage by 20. This is gonna be so good in fights that are all physical or magical, because your minute-long cooldown is insane. It gives you Iron Fur, and also will give you heal. Forgive me, Frenzy Regen. So it does that when it begins, and it does this when it ends. That is huge. That's actually massive. Wait, does it actually consume my active Frenzy Regen? Because I didn't press the button. I did not press the button. Reduces damage by additional 50% when it begins and gain Iron Fur and Frenzy Regen. So does this consume an active Frenzied Regen? Oh, that might not be as good. If it gives you a free Frenzied Regen, I think it's fine. If it gives you, you need to Frenzy Regen right now, then it's basically you're saving 10 rage when using this ability, because it will just use this for you. Interesting. Okay, so what I want to do is actually build up a little bit of rage and use Frenzy Regen twice, and then Barkskin, see if it gives you a Frenzy Regen. So 1, 2, pick off Frenzy Regen, Barkskin. It does give you a free Frenzy Regen, huh? But it puts this ability on a real long cooldown. So when this ability removes itself, I will get Frenzy Regen, correct? Yes, I do. But it does use a cooldown. That's weird. I think it's a bugged interaction where it actually uses Frenzy Regen. So I didn't have a charge of Frenzy Regen available, but it still put it on CD. So that is a little bit weird. So they gotta find a way so it doesn't actually use a charge of Frenzy Regen. Once they are able to, this will be a really strong Lego, but I'm gonna guess that is a bug. Either way, 50% additional damage reduction is huge. The heal and Iron Fur is also a nice combo. Then we have the pants. Thrash has a 50% chance to trigger an additional Thrash. So as we are swiping at the enemy, we'll see if we can get a second Thrash in there. There it is. So you actually do get an animation for it, but a 50% chance, I guess it's not bad. Again, if you are in a trash pack with AoE, this could give you potentially more damage, so you can pick up aggro a little bit better as a druid. Stacking up the Thrash twice could be really good for Earth Warden as well. Again, actually not a bad for Mythic Plus, depending on your build. Yeah, surprisingly, it's kind of like almost an offensive legendary in a way, but it's not terrible. And then we have the boots. The boots read, Berserk Bear from grants you 25% increased damage and 25% leech, and immunity to effects that cause loss of control for your character. So as a druid, this is huge. Guardian Bear, more damage, more leech, so all that damage heals you now. More damage means you do more damage and also can hold aggro better, and immunity to CC. It is a 2-minute cooldown, so you'll have to plan around using this properly, but this seems like a really interesting combo. I can totally imagine Mythic Pluses where there's a lot of stun locks on a tank, or maybe certain abilities to silence you or block you from certain abilities, so that could be really strong. I like the damage in the self-heal, which turns Berserk more into almost a defensive cooldown, where you'll damage to provide extra self-healing. Pop yourself, maybe charge a Frenzy Regen, and now you can just maintain yourself, basically becoming a Demon Hunter for a short amount of time. Overall, it seems like a very strong legendary, and I think this could be actually quite good for druids. And then we have Restoration Druid Legendaries, and these are going to be right here. So these guys actually got quite interesting, and probably one of the stronger legendaries, I'd say, for healers. For Restored, we have, you may Life Bloom 2 targets at once, and Life Bloom final heal is increased by 200. So I can Life Bloom this guy. Oh wow, we both Life Bloomed. Wow, this could be really good in raids. You Life Bloom 2 tanks, or you Life Bloom 2 targets in Mythic Pluses, or in PvP, you and yourself Life Bloom you and your partner in 2s. And that's a huge heal. I healed myself for 6,000 just now. Are you kidding me? No way. Yeah, 6,000 over the heal. What is this crit? Yeah, seems like a really strong one for raiding and maybe in some niche situations. I really do like the final burst of healing. That one seems really strong. I wonder if at this point druids will actually want this heal to disappear off of the enemy. Like you actually want it to tick out so you can get that burst healing at the end. I wonder if that's going to be the meta. They have boots where rejuvenation has a 2% chance to create a new rejuvenation on a nearby target. So as I'm putting heals on everybody, let me put heals on that rogue as well. A rejuve has a chance to bounce to a secondary target. You can also put rejuves on these guys just in case. We'll keep a rejuve on him. I don't want to try to put in as many rejuves as I can on as many allies as possible, or anybody that I can rejuve on. Well, the servers are really lagging. And there's a chance for it to create another rejuve on nearby. Seems like a really good one for raids. And could actually be useful in Mythic Pluses as well. Because it's 2% chance per person. And that could be actually a playstyle that you might want to play together with Germination as the talent. Seems like an interesting legendary, mostly for the saving on mana portion. Then we have gloves, where Swiftman no longer consumes a heal over time effect, and extend duration of a heal over time effects to target by 10 seconds. So normally Swiftman, they changed it in this expansion where it now consumes all hots. So if I were to, let's say, put up every heal on all nuts and press Swiftman, you'll actually have these heals extend by 10 seconds? That's huge! Your cooldown of your Swiftman is 15 seconds, so you'll extend it by 10. And then you'll have 5 seconds. Wait, you can actually just maintain same hots or same long duration hots, like maybe 2 rejuves and a life bloom longer in a single tank. And with a high haze build, doesn't this reduce? No, with a high haze build, this does not reduce. So I don't think it would play this with a high haze build. But together with Flourish, that also extends, increases the radio heal time effects for 8 seconds. That could be huge. That could be actually crazy. You could overgrow somebody into a Swiftman immediately. This could be really good. I actually like this one. I think this is going to be really good for when you are going to be using Swiftman often, where you don't want this hot to fall off. So maybe like Mythic Pluses and even PvP. As long as, you know, you have a mage or a shaman who could just remove all those hots. But yeah, it seems like a really strong one. And then we get Pants, where Wild Growth has a 24% chance to cause your next rejuve or regrowth to apply 2 additional targets within 20 yards of the target. So as we Wild Growth, we have a 1 in 4 chance to gain a buff. So Wild Growth being kind of an expensive ability, mostly good for groups, and I think it heals 8 people. 6 injured targets, so it's... Oh, here we go, here's the buff. So next regrowth, or rejuve, will apply an extra heal over time to nearby allies. So I'll regrowth him. I got a regrowth, and I guess if we had anybody nearby, they'll also apply a regrowth. Honestly, I think this is also another one of those where a value for the amount of mana spent type of deal. This actually seems quite good. At least I want to say it is. In raids, it seems good. I think in Mythic Pluses, this could also be good. Just getting free regrowth or free rejuve applied on an extra target. Wild Growth is generally a little bit one of the more expensive abilities for druids to cast as a heal over time. But it's a decent heal over time for the group nonetheless. Yeah, so together with this legendary, I don't think it's going to be bad whatsoever. And then we got some non-spec specific legendaries. These are legendaries that are available for all the specs in the game, anytime you want to use them. So let's take a look at what we got. First one is going to be the big one. Okay, this one's going to be a lot for me to handle here. Okay, effects of Thick Hide, which are going to be part of actually effects of your affinities. Effects of Thick Hide, Astral Influence, Feline Swiftness, and Ysera's Gift are increased by 100%. So for these guys, you got Astral Influence, so your ability should actually have a 6-yard range. I don't know if this legendary actually works. Effects of Thick Hide and Astral. So if we go here, wait, we actually do gain 12% damage reduction. Yeah, Guardian down to 6. So this should go to 6% heal, and this should be... Wait, it does increase! This is only 3 yards increase? Wait, so normally with Astral Influence, you have extra 3 yards, so you can hit an enemy from here. Backing up. So this is probably the furthest you can go. But when you put on the ring... you basically ranged. You're not even in melee anymore. I feel like this could be insanely good if you lag all the time and, you know, PvP a bit. And with lag in PvP, everybody's moving around, so you can never really catch up to people. This legendary would give you so much extra... Talk about long arms. You thought Outlaw had long arms? Look how long my arms are now as a feral druid. What is this? And when you shift into your affinities form, you gain Heart of the Wild pop into the boomy form. You get Heart of the Wild for a little bit. You can put all your dots, and then go for the most amount of damage from a distance. Which I guess if you want to do it, you totally could. Not saying that this is something you actually will be doing as a druid, as a feral at least, but it is something you could. I feel like where this could be actually useful is if you're playing with Resto Affinity and Guardian Affinity. You want to pop in a bear form, get Frenzied Regen, and all the other abilities, and be more effective as a tank could be huge in PvP. And in PvP as well. Go into healer form and just heal a bunch. Because Heart of the Wild will grant you like half off on mana, so you could really top someone off every minute. This is awesome. Or Resto Druid with Feral Affinity and Mythic Pluses. You put up Hots on everybody, pop into cat form, you get Heart of the Wild, so you do more damage, more claw damage, more burst. This is huge. And normally for non-spec specific abilities and legendaries, like they're kind of a middle ground that's just not amazing. But with druids and how hybrid they can be, the legendaries are a huge bonus. This is a huge benefit depending on like what kind of a build you're going for. This is actually huge. I thought this wasn't going to be as big. I thought it was just going to be like a minor, but this is insanely good. Surprisingly good too. Then we have the necklace where Moonfire, Rake, Rip, and Rejuvenation are on a single target. Their effects are increased by 30%. So if I put up a Rake on a single target, Rake is going to be more effective. Huh. So wait, can I put Rake here? How much damage does it do? 300. Put a Rake here. Oh, okay. So if this hot or a dot is on just one target, then it will do more damage. So as a feral, if you put Rip and Rake on a single boss fight, they just do 30% more damage. They're just 30% more effective. So as a feral, I guess you could also run Lunar Inspiration for this one and get Moonfire, Rake, and Rip on an enemy if you wanted to. For a healer, you would want to make sure to pop Rejuve on a single guy and just kind of let Rejuve do its work. Very interesting Lego. This one actually is from Torghast, one of the anima abilities. And I've never really figured out what it meant until I really tried it with the train dummies here. I think for feral and pure single target, this actually seems like a boon. You do more damage with your bleeds. This seems huge as long as you don't put bleeds on everybody else. In a pure single target, I don't know how good this one is going to be, but it seems kind of interesting. And lastly, we have the final legendary. We have ourselves your damage over time effects occur 25% more quickly, and your healing over time effects occur 10% more quickly. So this one is also a Torghast anima ability, but surprisingly, this one is actually quite massive if you're a Resto, maybe good if you are a Boomkin, and potentially good if you're a Feral. So your Rip goes from a maximum 5 common points of 2,877 to 3,722. Oh, huge. And together, I think with Blood Talents combined, that could also be massive. Get an extra common point into a full Rip. So Rip should do quite a bit of damage now, right? And so should Rake. So I guess if you wanted a feral bleed build, like a bleed kitty, you would of course get also a bunch of mastery as well for this build in order to gain the most value on damage. But yeah, you could actually play yourself like an actual bleed kitty build. You totally could. Let's go for a bit of a reset there. Now we should be able to get a another Rip, I guess, if we want to. I mean, it's gonna run out soon, so we're gonna wait until the very last second. Refresh it. Refresh all the other stuff. Yeah, wow, Rip is actually doing majority of my damage. Normally, that's not a thing for ferals. Normally, Rip doesn't do as much damage as it's doing here. I mean, I'm not really focusing on damage super hard. I definitely could have went with a Berserk, but this is actually a damage increase noticeably. Noticeable damage increase right now. Yeah, this seems like a really strong legendary. I'm actually a huge fan of this dot heavy mechanic. Yeah, and if you can get yourself a big bleed on top of it with Rip and maintain that big Rip together with Blood Talents, it could totally be worth. With the big master rebuild as well, this could be huge. Actually, I'm surprised how good the non-specific legendaries have been for druids in general so far. They actually seem quite strong, which is something that's going to set them apart from other specs because you're such a heavy hybrid playstyle. But anyway guys, it's going to be my video on the Druid Legendaries. This one seems really cool. I actually enjoyed every one of them. I feel like we still have legendaries to check out more for Boomkin. Not all of them are available, so there's going to be more to look at. There's probably going to be like 1 or 2 more maybe for Bear and 1 or 2 more maybe for Feral. And there's probably going to be more non-spec specific ones that we haven't seen yet. They're probably still just not functional. There were a couple legendaries that just don't have any tooltip, so I can't even make them right now. so it's just big old question marks. That's all the game spits at me. But with the legendaries we took a look today, these look awesome. I actually was a bit concerned about how druids are going to feel when it comes to Shadowlands, but I guess you have to take a look at the legendaries before you really get to see what the playstyle is going to look like. And if these are available in PvP, this gives me even more excitement. With how heavy hybrid emphasis Blizzard is adding to druids in this expansion, even the non-spec specific Legos seem really strong. And I wonder what kind of interesting combinations people will have with different talents as well as different builds. So super excited to see what Blizzard is going to do with more legendaries going forward. I actually like them all, even though boomies we didn't really have a lot to look at. Even those were still pretty good with some adjustments. At least Blizzard has a pretty, I think they have a pretty good idea what druids could use, and these all sound awesome. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts about Druid Legendaries available in the early version of the Shadowlands beta, and I'll see all of you guys in another one.